Welcome to the B4evaKool podcast. My name is Rex45.
My name is TJ with Two Wheels and Coffee.
What's going on, TJ?
Hey, I'm back for another session, just watching MotoGP now that my season's over. So that's all I can do is just see how the pros do it.
Right.
And just glad there's about 6 races left. I think 5 now, but, just get me through a couple more months.
Yeah, I mean,
How about yourself?
for me, I'm good. I have one more race to go before this season's over, so I'm going to Daytona in a couple of days, and try to see what I can come away with for some regionals. I'm looking forward to it. I can't say I'm in 100% shape, but
Yeah.
I'm happy the way things are. So that's not a problem.
I'll be excited to hear about that because I know one thing, you're closer. And
3 hours,
two is
baby.
still
3 hours.
good weather down there. Still good weather down there. So
You know what?
excited to hear about it.
Today's actually kind of chilly, man. It's in the 70s today, and I'm actually.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I know.
You want to know?
That kind of sucks,
Well, it's
but
cold for you guys.
it's
It's
kind
in
of
the 50s, 40s with us right now.
Yeah, no, I know. I've been watching.
And it's raining.
I've been watching the weather up there, so I do know what that's like. But no, it's a little bit chilly, so I was a little surprised at that 70. But you know what? It's still nice. I still can ride. Man, listen, I've been down here for almost 2 months, and I've already put close to 1,000 miles on my multistrada. So
Man,
I'm not
Nice.
complaining, and I just pulled out my heated jacket because it's a little chilly because it's 70s and my Jamaican blood, can't take the 70s. So I mean, shout out to those riders that can ride in below 75 because after 75 I'm cold and I need to turn on some heat or have a 3-season jacket on to block some of that wind.
I just wear long johns and hoodie and my jacket. That's all. I'll be fine.
Listen, man, you're better than
Until
I am.
until it hits like 45 degrees, and then you got to put some heated stuff on.
Yeah.
But then again, it's not really fun to ride unless it's early in the day and you're traveling with a group. But yeah, our time is getting limited up here in New England.
Yeah, I guess I'm a nomad, so I'm okay riding by myself. As long as I'm warm, I'm good to go, for sure. But let's get into MotoGP because Indonesia.
Oh boy.
I mean, all the classes. Moto 3, Moto 2, and MotoGP. I mean, we could talk about Moto 3 because as you said, you were up, I was up, and what were your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I was just watching the race pretty much. I wasn't really paying attention who was in the standings or anything like that. But I must say, like, they always ride hard every race, and it's cool to see like the different performances in each bike and the different strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Because Moto 3, it's just like riding a 250 that you got to get that draft to stay in
Right.
contention. If you break that wind, you're fighting against the air, and like the first lap when they came around across the straight. I mean, it would have been a cool picture frame, but they were literally all in a straight line, like all the riders.
Right. Yeah. No.
And before they had to break off, but it really got pretty tight at the end, and they were bumping and grinding. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, it was a good race to watch, especially staying up watching it live.
Yeah, no. Diego Moreira, the first Brazilian for a long time, but I don't remember if Frankie Morbidelli was in Moto 3 or not. Because Frankie Morbidelli is half Brazilian, and so I heard the commentators saying he's the first. But shout out to this kid because he's been riding great from his rookie year, and he's some bad lucks and Pedro Acosta, what I'm saying, and he's been close. But shout out to this young kid because I mean he was there.
Yeah, it was a good race. But yeah, I just thought they all rode well. I mean, those bikes are, I don't know, they look very light.
Oh, they're
And
very light.
it just
They're
take
like
take
they're like
take
they're like the RC 390 and I mean, they're very light bikes. Probably, obviously they're lighter than the RC. But
Oh
yeah, no,
yeah.
no, no, they're definitely small light bikes. You see when they move them around in the paddock and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
They just pick them up,
yeah,
you
just
know.
pick them up. Just pick them up. So a
But
lot of
I
that.
thought
Go ahead.
no, I'm saying I thought it was pretty cool, and just the way they just throw it around. I mean, you see it all the time, but
Right.
when
And
everything is challenging, they get I don't know, they just get much closer and more risk in the corners than like the GP bikes. When it gets tight, it's so.
oh yeah, no, for sure. And they push it to the limits. There was a lot of rub in
Oh
this
yeah.
past weekend.
Like,
And
like I said, I've never rubbed shoulders with a bike yet, so I don't know what it feels like. But they do it all the time.
yeah, no, they do it all the time, and it was a lot this weekend, and a couple of long lock penalties and
Oh,
some bad luck for some other riders, but Diego, he came away with the win, and that was definitely like football on two wheels.
oh yeah. Even your guy Anchu was up there.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
He was up there as well.
so
Go ahead.
now I was gonna say that before we get to him, like Diego, I remember he was in the lead, and he dropped back. Oh no, that must have been Messiah. He dropped back all the way to eighth and jumped back to the front, and then
Massia.
Massia,
Yeah.
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 So, but Anchu was running up there too, and it looks like where they finished eighth. So it's that draft,
It's the draft, the late break in, the literally you're pushing people out the way, and that it's these guys are fighting to get to Moto 2, right? And we've heard some of the MotoGP riders in the past talk about how and they've cleaned up Moto 3 for sure this year, and probably they started last year cleaning it up because it was very cutthroat, and riders were getting hurt because they you talk about riding on the limits, they were like over the limit all the time, and you still see it now that they have to override these bikes and put themselves in situations where it's kind of they're sending it right.
Yeah, they probably tell them don't override it, and they're like, "Yeah, sure," but we all know once you get in that race moment, someone starts drifting away from it, you don't even realize you push it to the limit. So,
E- e- ex- ex-
and,
exactly.
and
So definitely, Moto 3 was definitely exciting. Moto 2, Pedro Costa won it, and I'm still rooting for Aaron Canet, but that was a very good race as well.
I mean, I've been always rooting for Aaron Canet. I still wanted to see him win number one.
Yep.
He had pole, and
I think
he was
he
leading
has
for
like
most of the
11 or
laps,
12
and
podiums and
yeah,
not one first
yeah,
place yet, something like that.
yeah, not one first place,
Yeah.
and he had pole this race, and I just don't know. I just try to root for him. I'm rooting for him, but I'm just trying to see him win one before the year's out. It would be
Yeah,
great, but
I think if he got on I think if he got on Acosta's team KTM, I think you probably see the difference. I think Aaron Canet is a talented rider, and I think the disconnect is the bike itself, and the setup of the bike, and not his riding skill.
and I also think that just being like you can practice and get pole because you did a fastest lap, but when it becomes to a race and
Right.
you're the front runner
Yep.
and there's 20, 30 bikes behind you, it's a whole different beast. And Canet has never like led a race and like we said, won one. So
No, yeah, he's led them.
uh,
He's led for a
yeah.
lot of laps too, but
Oh yeah, it's
um,
it's just so hard, and we know how that goes.
right.
As we get further in this, but it's just
Yeah, and it's interesting because
unfortunate.
he's a small rider. So Danny Pedrosa comes to mind when I think of Aaron Canet. So if he's chewing the tires up, I mean he's just really I don't want to use the word overriding, but he's burning that tire up, gassing on too. Not what I mean, and um you know that I think that he runs into tire trouble right towards the
Yeah,
end of the races generally, and the pace. But I think on a different team, he may have, who knows, but he's a talented rider. So I think on a different team, he'll have better results. Which is, I mean,
What's that?
he's finishing second and third. I mean, it's but I think the top
Getting good points, but
yeah,
I mean, you want to be number one.
right,
So yeah, no, it's tough. I just think it's just mentally also a tricky game because just seeing no one to chase and you want to put in the best laps out there.
right,
All those laps is tough. Like I'd rather chase someone and try to make the move towards the end. And just talking through club racing, I remember like Eric Scott Greenwood would. I heard he would just try to just leave you and then and just wear you out,
right,
so you give up.
yeah,
Or some people will try to pace it and then just use the energy towards the second half and try to spread you then. And I don't know, it's just so many strategies, but
right.
he
So
just hasn't able to pull it out.
right, and do you think at this point it's a done deal for Pedro? Because I mean, Jake Dixon talks a little bit of trash, and you got other riders trying to step up, but uh, you know, it's a different. Not to say it's a different rider every round, but it seems like there's like 5 or 6 other guys that they'll show up for that weekend. That one guy will show up for the weekend to go against Pedro, and then 2 weeks later it's another guy. But Pedro's kind of been in the mix.
I mean, I feel like he's done now. He's like I said,
It's like I'm going to
he's up.
MotoGP,
He's up.
baby.
Yeah, I mean, he was up 30, 25, 30 points before this race,
Yeah,
and he won this one again, and he wasn't even, starting pole.
yeah,
It just shows, like, from his mindset, that's why I see why he's like, yeah, I need to go to something better.
right.
Not
Uh,
that it's getting too easy, but, he's kind of mastered it, and I
he
still think he should stay another year. But
Right. Yeah, I agree with that waiting part. And again, he's on a really good team, so he's getting a really good results. I think if he was on a different team, he would not yield the same result for sure. He'll still be fighting. Like Mark Marquez and these guys, the talented guys, will ride around the bike's problems. But at that level, with that kind of surgeon type of feel, you have to have. On a motorcycle, between coming off the bike and staying on the bike, he seems to wear it very well.
all right. Um, I don't know, just yeah, he's blowing them out.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Next year is going to be interesting in MotoGP for sure. And hey, let's get into MotoGP.
I wish Aya Girl was in the mix though. He was spin out. So
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with you there. Yeah, I agree with you there. You would have think so. Even on to go back to Tatsuki Suzuki in Moto 3. These riders they have good weekends here and there. It's kind of like Masia. Maybe they have stuff going on in their personal life. Maybe the pressures of just staying on top. That they have an off season, and also you just have an off season. It was nice to see Lorenzo Baltazari in Moto 2 again, covering for Celestino Viete, because he's in World Superbike now in the Superbike series, and he came out the gate and was a fast rider, Lorenzo, and and then he had a off time and hasn't been able to recover, and he went to Superbike or Supersport, and I think he was runner up or third in the championship, and then moved over to World Superbike. So I don't know why some of these riders. I mean, I don't know why. I do know why. People can have slumps. It is what it is. It's hard to watch as a fan, right? Because you're rooting for them. But these riders do have slumps, and I don't know if he's in a slump right now. I mean, he did finish second in Motegi, right? So, but even before that, he was kind of, it's not the best year he's had, and that's unfortunate to see.
Well, I do know that now there's a open seat. I don't know if anyone took it yet, but for Pedro Acosta.
Oh no, those both those seats are sewn up. Celestino
Okay.
Viete
Yeah.
moved over to Akiawa,
All right. Good.
and then Dennis Anchu is also Akiawa as well. So it's for
All
Moto
right.
Two.
Cool.
So that's going to be a dope team next year, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's a good team, and they're probably gonna do pretty well.
I've been rooting for Celestino Viete for a while now. So he had a rough year last year. The team switched. VR46 they sold a team, and he moved over. Change is not easy for everybody. So again, I don't know what his story was, but he definitely had a slump towards the end of last year, and most of this year really. And he should be a top 5 rider.
Yeah, I guess new team, new beginning.
Yeah,
Should work.
yeah.
This should be dope.
So that yeah, no,
MotoGP is gonna be dope next year too, with all these new riders on new teams. So
for sure. And let's get into MotoGP, man, because
yeah,
the sprint race, Jorge Martin dominated. Shout out to the VR46 boys, second and third, riding wounded with plates in their shoulders. Um, you know, what do you think about
that just
MotoGP? Before we get into because this year's been pretty to me amazing. But what do you think about MotoGP? Because I see some people compare MotoGP to World Superbike, and when I see it, it seems like they're making you having to choose. And I love all motorcycle racing. It's not I can watch everything, so I don't need to. I'm a fan of all of it all. You know what I'm saying? I watch the Australian stuff, the Canadian stuff, Motor America, BSB. If you're racing tricycles and you're going fast, I'm probably gonna watch it. So what do you think about folks comparing MotoGP and World Superbike?
I mean, like you said, I like all the all the racing from BSB to Moto America, World Superbike, GP. I look at GP as just I think all the riders, I think they're like robots, superhuman. They just get up and run to their second bike. I think it's cool that they have two bikes. It
Yep.
just makes things much more entertaining. You don't have to like skip a beat. Um, but they get to try new things. You get to hear new products that they put out you've never seen before, new wings and all this good stuff.
Right.
But one thing I know is we'll never ever be able to test one of these or ride one of these unless we're lucky.
Yeah. And
But
got
as
the
we
money.
watching, yeah, we got the money. But like BSB and World Superbike, it's more of like in our alley. There's bikes that mostly all manufacturers kind of can relate to it more, and
Right.
they go a little bit harder, I think, because I don't know, it's just that much closer and more competition. I can't really describe it, but um, it's more of like a street style bike compared to a prototype like the
Right.
GP.
Yeah.
It's like super fast, and yeah, we'll never see that.
Yeah.
But comparing it, I don't know. It's hard to compare like what to watch. It's just I think what's more entertaining as far as like as the consumer when you like go to the website and what they show, how more easy it is to see.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah. So let's get back into MotoGP as far as the race in Indonesia. Anything you want to talk about as far as the sprint race before we jump into the main race?
Well, the guy Bezzecchi, after breaking his collarbone and jumping out there, you know, after flying in late after 5 days of hurt himself, he did pretty well.
Right. It's not quite Jorge Lorenzo when he broke his collarbone and flew back in the next day because it was the next day type of thing. Where this he had a week, but to be on a podium is pretty amazing.
It's just like,
and
it's like, what are they giving these guys?
Yeah, and as these other riders as fourth place all the way to the back. When you look in the mirror, what do you think? Like you're like these dudes got broken collarbones and they're in front of me. And
well, I know it's his job. It's just it's just amazing to see. Like I said, one of my friends when we went to the track fell off and hurt his shoulder, and he was done for the day because he had like a little contusion.
Right.
And he obviously this is not our job, so he wanted to make sure he was good for his real job. But
Right.
it took him a couple weeks,
Oh,
and
listen,
the
man.
fact that he did this in training, broke his collarbone, and went and got surgery the same day, and
Right.
then 5 days later he's on
A prototype.
practicing and then gets on the podium.
Yeah.
Like this dude's a robot.
Yeah, no, it's pretty dope. Definitely dope to see hat goes off to those
Well,
guys.
he also crashed twice in
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
So
and it's just I don't know. But that sprint was really good.
yeah. No, the sprint was really good.
Congrats to Jorge Martin.
Yeah, no doubt. Very fast guy. And then the main race, man. I was up
Yeah.
at 3 a.m. I woke up at like
I did.
2:55 and got to the computer and flicked it on. And I'll say shout out to MotoGP because the website is probably the best it's been
Yeah, it is nice
from
now.
I've been watching their MotoGP. And y'all are getting it. Y'all are getting it. So I definitely
They tweaked it a little bit. It started off a little bad. when
yeah,
they
for
did
sure.
it.
Yeah,
Now
it
it's
did.
pretty
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
good. It was terrible. I was like, "What is this? Who did this?"
Yeah,
All right,
for
let's
sure.
let's get a little better.
Somebody forgot a couple of commas and semicolons or something in the code.
Yeah.
But
I hate to see like when you click on a race, like you don't want to see who's winning or anything. You just wanna,
exactly.
like it's like what are they doing? Like stop at the click it because I didn't watch it live this time. I watched it later, but
Yeah.
I didn't watch social media or anything like that.
No.
So
Yeah,
I
no,
didn't
they're
see
doing
the
a
full
very
race.
yeah, they're doing a very they're coming to the present, and probably the future with their website. So that was exciting to see. So yeah, no, I was up at so I missed Moto 2 and I missed Moto 3, right? And so the first race I watched was MotoGP, and
Yeah, I
it,
was opposite.
yeah. And I'll let you go first, and just tell me what
All
you
right, for
thought,
it.
and because I might have to pull up some old clips when we talk about Ducati and riders, but
Well, I try to actually compare this race to last year
uh-huh.
because the reason why I saw Fabio, running up front through practice and qualifying.
Right.
And and last year he did really well in this race. I think he won. I'm not sure if he won, but he's on the podium. Petco didn't do so well. So like when he messed up in Q1, where he had the fastest lap and then he didn't do another one, and then two
It was
riders
a yellow
passed him.
flag, right? So
I forgot how
I
it
think because
happened,
his
but
lap
he looked up
that
at the
lap didn't
monitor.
count because I think it was a yellow flag at the lap, and then he didn't get a chance to do another one. I could be wrong.
Yeah, so he was a little mad at himself. So he was put in the back of the grid, and I was just like, okay, he doesn't like this track is not his best track.
Right.
So going into the sprint, you see what happened. He didn't finish that well. So going into the race, I was like, okay, Jorge Martin got this. Fabio's going to be up there.
What an amazing
And
start by Jorge Martin. Well, I
man,
mean
just
that's like
starting six on the grid to get first in the corner this time. Like that was a good start.
that was spot on.
And I always practice on my starts as well. Just try to time everything and just get a good launch. It feels good.
Right.
It feels good. But I thought the race was pretty good. It was a nice, entertaining race. And, as the commentators go, when someone's 3-4 seconds ahead, they stop talking about them, stop putting the camera on them because,
Right.
they think they got it. So I just, like I said, I think he's just wasn't ready to be in the lead.
Right.
And
Yeah, I was
don't
rooting.
know.
I was rooting for Maverick Vinales, right? And I think he had the pace, but I think that Maverick is a seasoned rider, and he decided to save his tires because he was on Jorge was over the limit, and he was riding over the limit. And you mentioned Scott Greenwood earlier about starting out and just beating beating the will out of people,
Yeah,
with pulling away, 3-4 seconds, so they just give up and just maintain where they're at, and I think that's
but
what
3 seconds
Ohe
is
was
enough.
on, huh?
3 seconds is not enough, but it's enough to slow down just a
Right.
little bit.
Yeah.
You know, just try to secure those points. Like you had 3 seconds. I don't know how many laps were left. It
Right.
was just disappointing when I heard he fell. So
Exactly, and don't get me wrong, Pecco threw away a lot of races last year, right? So I think this is the first
but
one that Martin is thrown away. But I think it is pivotal, because if Martin won this, he may have sucked the life out of Pecco. It's possible
oh yeah,
if it went the other way, it would have been his to run away with. I'm not saying Martin can't come back for sure, because we still got 10 races to go. But
that's a lot of points.
that crash is going to stay in the back of his mind. Like, he's going to think,
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
don't mess this up again. And when you ride like that, you're not riding your best. You're riding kind of scared, right? Versus and
yeah, scared, cautious,
yeah.
you know, and that's what I mean. Like that mentality to be up front for 28 laps, that's tough.
Oh, it is.
And he hasn't really done it that much this year, and I don't know. Pecco, yeah, salute to him for pulling that off because
13th to first place
when that happened, he was
in second at that
three
point.
seconds.
Yeah. No,
No,
was he in
he was in
third? Oh, he
third.
was in third when that
He was
happened.
in
Yeah.
third.
Yeah.
He was like 3 seconds behind Maverick
Yeah.
in third place, and took him a couple of laps, and he reeled Maverick in. I'm just
Right.
like, damn.
Yeah, but it's possible he might have been able to chase Martin down too, because Martin had to have been
Oh yeah,
eating up his tires. Again, he crashed out, so you can tell that he was already. And even Pecco said in post that he was already on the limit, and he was just like, yeah, he's kind of riding over the limit. So I think that's where the experience come in, because again, like last year, Pecco crashed out in the lead a few times, right? So
more than a few.
well,
I think he crashed out first place maybe
that's
six times.
pretty much all the ones he
Yeah,
crashed out. He was
yeah,
in first
yeah.
place.
All the races crashed, he's in first place.
Yeah, so
You know,
I guess he does know what that's like, right?
yeah,
And
he hasn't experienced it yet. It's low. It's. I'm sure he's gonna grow from that now to his next races.
I think so,
I mean, he pulls
because
the sprints off,
right.
but
Yeah, and I think so, because you think about the beginning of the year, Martin, especially for him, I think losing out to Enea Bastianini, the factory seat, right? And then, coming in to the season and not having the results he was having at the beginning of the season, he had to figure it out, and that beat on him. And then he had this nice run. He had the Pecco run, right? He had this nice run. But, I'm not a fan of trash talking, right? But you don't want to. I find when you talk trash and you don't make it till the end of the season, it's not a good look. It's better not to talk trash. And I feel like Martin was getting a little chirpy in front of the media, right? Behind the scene is one thing, right? But in front of the media, and that's from watching him over the years. That's not his MO. You know what I mean?
he's a party boy though.
And so it's it's a long season, and you got to keep your head, it's easy to be at the foul line and thinking you can hit this open shot because you've done it 1,000 times, but it's different when the game is on the line.
So you saw so every time that happened to Pecco, you saw his little walk of shame back to the
Oh
paddock.
yeah, exactly.
Like when Martin crashed, he didn't even want to go back. He started watching the race as a spectator.
Helmet's
Just
still
stayed
on.
the fence, holding the fence. He was like, all right. He watched the whole lap.
Yeah.
He watched Pecco and all the come by. And the funny thing is also Zarco crashed in the same corner.
Yep.
Same exact thing happened. So is this something with the tire like that? I hope that didn't Like I don't know. They, like I said, they don't show their tires, so we don't know.
Right.
But
I
it's
a
funny
lot.
that he crashed in the same
Right.
corner. I don't know if they just
Yeah.
on cruise control
I
and
don't know if
losing
it's 11
concentration.
and 13, but there was some corners where it seems like a lot of crashes were happening, and it
Yeah.
seems like the track was, if you're offline a bit, was very dirty. And
Uh-huh.
what it seems like the blame is on the dirty track, right?
Yeah.
And running a little bit out, and which is, I don't know if you can have a truck that blows the dust off before the race start, or is it kind of like the elements is the elements and survive, type of thing. But to I don't know,
That
to have
track's
a,
weird too. It's not a flowing track.
yeah. Say again.
It's not really a flowing track. They were saying it's like a I don't know. It's a weird. It's
Yeah,
a weird track.
no. Have you
I don't
not
understand.
tried it on MotoGP video game yet?
Oh, oh, I have.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
last year. It is kind of weird. It's kind of weird. But
yeah, it's a little different.
it is weird. I was gonna say the Hondas were offline for sure.
Yeah.
Again.
Oh my God. Marquez, right? Hand up. That's all he's doing is us praying to God. It's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's waiting for the
He
end of the
can't.
season or he's
He's
just
waiting for the end of the season. He's done. He's trying to be polite. He's done.
he's like, look what y'all are doing. Come on.
Like,
That's pretty.
yeah.
Yeah. Honda will
And
figure
then
it out.
Mir went
Yamaha
down
will figure it
again.
out. Say again?
You know, the funny thing is that Mir went down again too.
Yep.
Before Taka used to fall a lot.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really been talked about, but he's staying up. It's kind of weird, but that Honda, like they said, is just not a bike to be on right now. It's
Yeah,
just
but
a lot
he
of crashes.
Taka mangled his left hand too, on that bike. Marquez mangled his right arm on that bike, you know what I mean? And so yeah, Taka, yeah, he jacked himself up on that bike. So he might not be trying to override, you know what I mean? He's just like, I'm what the bike gives me is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to survive this thing. Because that's where it is. Outside of Marquez, he has the most seat time on that bike.
Oh yeah,
and
he's been into some crazy accidents.
Yeah, no,
I mean, they all have, but yeah, like you said, he's trying to just survive, and like Mark can't do that. Mark, that's not his riding style. He's all in.
Right.
So,
well, I guess
you see that all the time.
Yeah, I'll say again. I think Marquez he's chasing. He want number 9 and number 10. He want 10 world titles. He got that Kobe mentality. Want one more than Shaq.
You think 2023 bike's gonna do it?
Listen, if anybody can do it, Marquez can do it. So,
fair.
You know what I mean, and that's gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? I look, if Jorge Lorenzo, if Ducati had listened to Jorge in the beginning of the first year on that bike, he probably would have won a world title. Because once they listened to him, he was gone. But by then it was too late. And and now the bike is really running really well. I know Marquez knows he has to. I suspect he's going to be on a Ducati Panigale every damn day from he can to be ready for the next season. Because if that was me, that's what I'd be doing. I'll be at the track every day doing laps on a Panigale, talking to Pecco, figuring out braking, because everybody knows this about braking. Everybody, Martin had to figure out braking, Pecco had to figure out braking, Bezzecchi figured it out, but it's all about the braking on that bike, and yeah, once Marquez figures that out, it's a wrap. But
you think so I mean, like 2023 bike versus 24 bike, you think he's just gonna jump in and do Ducati just like dominate?
Yeah.
I mean, we got a lot of time to see.
Because
what about Pecco though?
They have the data they're gonna have the data from 8 riders, and Pecco's gonna fight. Bezzecchi's gonna fight. Martin is gonna fight.
I
Um,
thought Pecco was your dog. That's why I thought Pecco was your dog.
Bastianini's coming to his own these last couple of races, so
Yeah.
next year he could be there, but he's gonna be fighting for his seat as well because that factory seat's gonna be up for grabs at the end of 2024. And Alex Marquez, I think is gonna figure it out. Luca Marini, so Luca Marini and Alex Marquez is probably gonna be the two weakest links on Ducati going into 2024 at the moment, right? And they're still really dope riders, and they still have gotten on the podium. So when I say that, there's no disrespect. And yeah, they all got a fighting chance. They all got a fighting chance. And but Marquez, he's a talented rider, and
I can't wait to see.
Pecco coming from 13th to first place is the best race to me that he's done. That to where he's come for that far back and won. Marquez can do that. Valentino Rossi can do that. There's a few riders that can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Brad Bender did it.
Yeah, Brad Bender. There's but Marquez can do it more consistently.
Multiple times. I
know. You know what I'm saying? And look, me as we talk. I'm not a Marquez fan. I'm a Rossi fan, and we can talk about 15 and 16 and 17 in these years, and so you know. But I've also watched the man go through what he's gone through, and he moves a different way, and he's been humbled by his situation. Same with Lorenzo was they humbled by their situation. Probably Rossi was humbled by his situation as well, because there's an arrogance that kind of happens when you're just kicking everybody's ass. You know what I'm saying? But now he's a different rider, and over the years of seeing him go through all this and see how he says and how he's carrying himself, he gets it. You know what I mean? And so from looking at how he's been able to ride the Honda and still put that bike on the podium, even though it's a bad bike, if he figures out that Ducati quick, he's gonna be up there. He's gonna be up there with the best of them.
Yeah.
Now I will say that Jorge Martin rides like a Lorenzo. If he's out front, it's gonna be hard to catch him. But Marquez does that, and Pecco does that as well, and so does Bezzecchi. So these are riders when they're out front, they usually don't mess up.
Well, I think they're gonna pick on Mark because they don't want him to learn as fast because they know what's coming. But I also think that he's still gonna be Mark. He's gonna try to follow Pecco, and they're gonna be pissed off at him, follow him all the time. I just can't wait to see it. I do have one question.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say before. No, go ahead. What was you gonna say?
I was gonna say
mine's a little off.
I want that launch device that Ducati, that Martin and Pecco have. They're the only two riders that got that. Whatever that is on that Ducati, whatever that Tron robot, whatever that thing is, that's giving them that launch like that, bro. So imagine when all the bikes have all the Ducatis have that. Come on.
Did you hear that there's a certain height that they can go?
What do you mean?
Now there's like a rule. So when they launch and then they drop down, they have to go down to a certain inch.
Oh, got you. They can't go below that.
It's regulated now. I don't know how that matters
to balance the playing field. Is what they're doing. So. But no, right now whatever that launch device is that they got, it like Martin had it hooked up to form on Sunday, and
he wasn't playing.
That bike just took off like a laser. Don't get me wrong, Ducati's had a bad run for a very long time. They only got their first title last year since Casey Stoner. So it's been a long run of bad luck, of nobody wanting to be on a duck. The bike is unrideable, all that. So, they may be the Patriots of MotoGP right now. They, and got Tom Brady, or a bunch of Tom Bradys in this case, because they got some dope riders.
They're the Cowboys.
Yeah.
They're the Cowboys because they have diehard fans for so long, right. And they've never won.
Yeah,
Well, Cowboys, hopefully they win, but they just.
But I think for the next few years, I think for the next few years, Ducati's going to have a good little run for the next few years.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Because
And
I grew up knowing about Ducatis.
yeah.
That's the only bike. Like, I didn't know Suzuki. I didn't know Honda. I knew Kawasaki
Right.
because of the green,
Yep.
but I knew the red and the green. And like you said, since Casey Stoner until now, it's just Ducati's still that bike, even on the street. Everyone wants a Ducati.
Right.
It's just like I don't know. If you want to bring up sports like the Cowboys, or it could be like the Patriots too. So
Hey, it's as long as you're getting rings,
it's just
baby. As long as you're getting rings.
die hard fan. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No doubt. So they're in
But
Australia coming up. I believe it's this weekend. They're in Australia. Um, Pecco's healthy. Pretty much every rider has everything figured out. I will say this: I feel for DeGen Antonio. I do. I feel for him. He finished fourth over the weekend, and he's been running his butt off. Most might say, "Hey, bro, you should have probably did that last year." And but it's the level of where MotoGP is right now. If you don't produce in your rookie season, if you're not doing better than seasoned riders in your rookie season, it's really hard to keep your seat.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what they do to train, or I don't. It's just the competition level. It's hard to keep a seat. I
So
mean, you see, like, I don't want to be off topic again, but like Cameron Bobier,
yeah,
like his vision was different, even though he had a seat, and he chose to withdraw himself.
right.
Hard to keep a seat either way. But it's hard to keep a seat. You got to perform all the time.
Yeah, it is. So I do feel bad for him. I suspect he's probably going to end up in World Superbike or something like that. But there's a lot of talented riders, and it's about money, and I get it. And it's hard. Especially the level of riders that's been coming out of Moto 2 these last few years and coming into MotoGP and really dominating the level is not like I've seen in a while or maybe even ever. And so I get it, but no, it's tough to say because he's a talented rider, and Remy Gardner, Ika Lukuono, even even Zarco initially with KTM. That's the downside of these riders. What's going on with Polo Sprago? Even though he's getting a contract next year, we're all humans at the end of the day, and I think that's what Gian Antonio, just said. Hey, through all this, I'm human. So it's like we're commentating and talking about them, and they want better for themselves, and we as fans and even the teams, they want better. And one reason or another, it's not there, and this guy's out of a seat in 2 years in MotoGP, and he's a top 15 rider.
Yeah, that's another thing, like how we started off in the beginning, comparing the two. So like when this happens and Remy Gardner and they go to World Superbike, now I want to watch World Superbike. I want to see how they're performing in World Superbike. So it's just I got to jump back and forth. So that's how a little bit another way of comparing.
Oh, for sure. It definitely
Sure.
because I think this is the most MotoGP riders that's been in World Superbike in a long time.
Yep.
Yeah. You got Gardner, you got Pachucci,
Petrucci.
you got Ikaluka Ono, you got Viete, you got these guys that are in Baltazari, all these riders. The dude that ran, Nikolai Bulaga, all these guys that came and for whatever reason, whether it's just personality or whatever the case may be, they're not in the top thing anymore. And it's motorsports, it's people. It's awesome that there's other places to go, so these riders still have opportunities and stuff like that. But like these guys are young, it's not like they've been in MotoGP for 10 years and they're getting out. These guys are 2 years in MotoGP, 1 year in MotoGP, and they're out.
Yeah, that sucks, and it's gonna be hard to get back. But you know, they got the MotoGP fight and everything.
Yeah, no, it's like getting to the NBA for 1 year or 2 years, or recording one album and that's it. It's like you didn't get a chance to shine, and and these writers will go on and do great things. You look at what Alvarez doing in the World Superbike right now.
Yeah, he was in GP years ago.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it definitely the sport does get better overall, but I do feel bad for these riders that make it and only get 1 or 2 years and don't get the opportunity to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, all right, man, I have to get ready for Daytona, and they got more
I
racing
got
this
I got
weekend.
I got one question before we go. I
All
see
right.
it's about to wrap up. So, you know how Rossi went from Honda to Yamaha, but he kept his colors, right?
Uh-huh.
So when Marquez goes to Gresini, those colors are like completely opposite. What do you think Mark is gonna take with him? Is he gonna have some orange in him? Like he's gonna have the helmet? What do you think he's gonna take with him?
Well, I think if he takes any color with him, he's copying Rossi, because Rossi's the first guy to really do that. To
He's gonna take a little orange, or we gonna
but
keep the spider helmet,
I
Spider-Man
I
helmet.
suspect he'll keep the spider helmet, and because
Okay.
there's red in Grassini, so I think he'll play with that. And I think
That's
if anything, he'll keep the orange, if he for number plate or something like that. But it's going to be
all
tricky
right.
because it's Honda and Ducati, so it's one thing where Rossi was yellow, and that wasn't Honda, that was just Rossi. So
Yeah.
if it smells like Honda, I don't know how much Ducati's gonna be like, you can do that.
Well, it's gonna be interesting to see. But yeah, hope you have a good time in Daytona. And yeah, I want to see what. Let us know what happened. Get some medals.
Well,
Get back in line.
that's the plan, man. That's the plan. We'll see. It's it's never easy. My name is Rex45.
All right, my name is TJ with 2 L's and coffee.
Peace.
All right, peace out.